There's a new pro-Biden ad out, and it's getting a lot of praise because it uses a lot of foul language, and people are like, ooh, edgy, I like that. It was put out by the North America Building Trades Union. So this is a union that has decided to put out this pro-Biden ad. I have problems with it. It's not because of the tone of the ad, but the content of the ad. Take a look and decide for yourselves whether or not this is accurate.
So, what the hell's been going on in Washington since this new guy took over? We know President Biden's been busy putting Rona on her ropes. You think he had time for other things? Ain't right, he did. Out the gate, Joey B rounded up all the anti-union, anti-worker heads and told them to pound sand. Then he filled his cabinet with people who actually give a damn about your job. He even made one of our own union brothers, a bad labor named Marty, his Secretary of Labor.
Nobody's tougher than the American worker.
Biden gives a shit about your wages and making sure workers got the skills to win. He's pushing the PRO Act, so you get a say in how much you're worth. Biden saved pensions, so you don't have to work till the day you die. He's saying buy American for sake, so my tax dollars aren't paying for more factories in China. Biden took a train to work every day, so yeah, he gives a about trains. What, you don't like trains? Guess who delivered the American Rescue Plan? Joe ain't right. President Joe Biden getting us up off our and working again. What's up next for the scrappy Irishman? Not just another bullshit infrastructure week. He's about to drop the American Jobs Plan, guaranteeing food on the table of millions of union families.
Okay, there's a lot there. So first off, let's do the sandwich method, okay? Let's be fair, all right? I learned this in Toastmasters. So I'll start off with the good and then I'll sandwich in the bad. The good is, yes, he's actually done a great job with COVID. And I think that I often take that for granted and forget about it. He did a fantastic job in distributing the coronavirus vaccine. I wish he had made a decision a little sooner to waive the vaccine waivers. But overall, in the United States, he has handled the coronavirus pandemic far better than Donald Trump did. So he gets good grades for that. He also does have a name that can be shortened to Joey B, and I do appreciate that. I think it's a lot of fun, but I haven't felt the need to use it lately because I don't feel so warm and fuzzy toward him because of the fact that he did not fight for a $15 an hour minimum wage. He gave up that fight real easy, and the fact that he's getting credit for that in this ad, I think is wrong. Also, does he really care about your wages? Like, anyway, okay. And then they talk about the PRO Act. They're like, oh, you know, he's pushing the PRO Act. He's pushing the PRO Act. Is he though? He put out he put out a video on social media saying that people should support the effort to unionize in Bessemer, Alabama, and he says he's in favor of the PRO Act. It doesn't matter what he says. Like, the rhetorical stuff doesn't matter. What matters is, what is he doing to ensure that the PRO Act, which strengthens labor power in the United States, passes in the Senate? That would require applying pressure to the 10 Senate Democrats who are standing in the way. That would require doing away with the Senate filibuster. You know, Nate Silverjank on Twitter last night made the argument that it's not really Biden's job to go into Senate and persuade these senators to do what he wants. No, but that's literally all politics is. Persuasion and politicking is what politics is. If he's not gonna do that, then what's the role of the president? To sit in the Oval Office and I don't know, flub his speeches all day? No, that's not what the president is supposed to do. The president is supposed to apply pressure, much like LBJ did, by the way. LBJ did all sorts. He knew how to use carrots, he knew how to use sticks. I'm not talking about who he was as a person, whether he was a good guy or a bad guy, but he knew how to get things done. We're not seeing that from Biden, and the fact that he's getting credit for supporting the PRO Act, okay, sure, I guess he supports it, but he's not fighting for it. And then finally, he dropped the American Jobs Plan. He's referring to the infrastructure bill in that ad, right? Yeah, he did, he dropped it, that's for sure. Not dropped it in dropping it and we're gonna get it done. More like dropping provisions already, including taxing the rich, to ensure that we actually accomplish that policy. So that's why I have a problem with it. I know I went on too long, Cenk, but.
No, it's okay. So I liked the ad the first time I watched it. We bleeped out the curses. In the real ad, the curses are there. And by the way, look, Rebellion PAC, which I founded, runs really tough ads, including against Joe Manchin. You should go support them at rebellionpac.com. And we're not the only ones. Midas Touch does it now, and obviously the Lincoln Project ran very tough ads against Trump during the 2020 race for all their negative sides too. So now cursing is coming to the ads, and now these ads are going to get out of control soon. Okay, in the old days, the reasons that you didn't do really tough ads, if you were a Democrat, Republicans would do the most vicious ads, was because your donors would frown upon it. Oh, please, I don't want you using my money for that. Attacking Republicans, no, don't do that. Unilaterally disarm. The second reason was you had to put it on TV, and you couldn't curse on TV. Now people realize, oh, we're reaching people better on digital media. So, oh yeah, there's no rules on digital media. It doesn't have to be 30 seconds. There doesn't have to be curses. So in the beginning, when I first watched that ad, I liked its irreverent attitude. Re-listening and watching it now, I've kind of changed my mind.
It's because I was so persuasive.
Well,
come on,
halfway,
you know what I mean?
Halfway.
Nate Silver doesn't want me to be persuasive, right? He doesn't think it's my job as a commentator.
Right. No, I'm gonna get to Nate Silver in a second. But on the ad, it now looks patronizing, right? Like, no, union guys talk like this and they do this with the steel and stuff. No, you guys, some of them do that, but a lot of them are very normal. I don't know what normal is, right? But they don't all talk like this. Hey, what's up with Joey B? Right? And so.
What, you don't like trades?
Yeah, it feels like it was put together by a person who's not really union. Okay, like almost like a Democratic consultant's view of a union guy.
Yeah.
Right. So that's part of it. But I get what they're doing. They're trying to use, ironically, Biden's strategy of just carrots, right? If we encourage Biden, then maybe Biden will actually do the PRO Act. Look, we just did a whole ad saying you're gonna do the PRO Act, so wink, wink, why don't you do the PRO Act? So I get that motivation and I respect it. But as always, with anyone on center left to the left, there's almost never any sticks against corporate Democrats, never. Yes, now against Republicans, yes, but never against corporate Democrats. So if and when Biden actually does not do the PRO Act, are those same unions gonna go turn around and do ads against Biden? No way, 0% chance. They're on the left, there's nothing but carrots and no sticks at all, right? So now let's go to the half that Anna was, that one half of the reason why I don't like it anymore is because of the patronizing. The other half is the reasons that Anna is stating that are all 100% right. So PRO Act has 0% chance of passing as it currently is, 0%. PRO Act is to the left of me. You have to be like 1,000 miles to the right of me to pass anything in Congress, okay? But they're gonna pass the PRO Act. They're not gonna pass that. If they do, it'll be stripped to the bone and it'll be totally neutered in a way that makes it totally useless. So I guarantee you, but likely they'll pass none of it. And the unions, when Obama was in charge, 8 years they begged Obama to pass card check and all these things. And what did Obama give them? Nothing. Nothing.
But he did campaign and say he was going to put his picket line shoes on. I forget his exact wording.
Yeah, he was going to go into his closet and he had his walking boots on if the unions ever went on strike for public unions. Well, they did in Wisconsin, and I don't know that Obama actually owns any boots, but if he owns any boots, they remained firmly in his closet.
Yes.
And not only that, first of all, he couldn't even do the bare minimum, which is go out there and support them.
Exactly.
But then in terms of passing bills, which is the most important part, of course Obama didn't do anything, because corporate Democrats work for corporations. Yet unions like knuckleheads constantly support the most conservative Democrats. They're like progressives now, no, we don't want those guys. Those guys actually fight for us. Corporate Democrats, oh please, please, please. How's that working out for you? All right, so now let's turn to Green Lantern. So what Nate Silver is referring to is like the clever people in mainstream media, and I've given Ezra Klein credit before. I know Ezra, he's a good guy, he's a smart guy. He he popularized, he's not the one who came up with it at all, but popularized it back in a Vox article like 7 years ago, this concept called Green Lantern. And what it does is it sets up a complete excuse for corporate Democrats to do absolutely nothing. Green lanterning is a concept where they say, politicians aren't Green Lantern. They can't just point their ring and will something into existence. This whole idea that you would do an LBJ. I mean, did you know LBJ had big majorities of Democrats? Yeah, and a lot of those Democrats were in the Klan. So no, it wasn't as simple as that,
That's right?
And there was, yes, liberal Republicans at the time. And so that was back when the Democrats were honestly the more racist party, right? And the reason they switched is because Lyndon Johnson broke their back and passed the Civil Rights Act and Voting Rights Act. So I don't want to get too far into the details. The other way of Green Lanterning is Reagan, and they say Reagan persuaded people, but it's not magic. I don't know if you know this, it's not magic. So that's what now I'm doing Nate Silver. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm very sophisticated. I actually know that nothing is possible. And I want to give credit to corporate Democrats for doing absolutely nothing. I mean, you don't want to try your willpower. No, you want to stay at home and sit on the couch. So
no, that was my favorite impression of yours.
Okay, thank you. So last thing on that, guys, of course it's possible. There's two parts of it. Number one, you don't know if it's possible if you never actually do it. And Biden has no sticks. He's never going to go after Joe Manchin. You see him right there. Manchin's slapping him across the face, but it's all a joke. It's all a play. Manchin and Biden are on the same team. Biden's taking it because he doesn't believe in his own agenda. He never intended to pass the PRO Act. It's all obvious politics. How could they not see that? It's unbelievable. Let alone the Jobs Act, let alone $15 minimum wage. Again, I'm gonna say it one more time. Coons and Carper, two senators from Delaware, where Biden's from, his top two allies in the Senate, voted against the $15 minimum wage amendment in the COVID relief bill. That is Biden saying, you idiots, I don't actually want it. How much clearer do I have to be? That's my best friend, and that's my second best friend, and I just had them vote against to tell you, shut up, you're not gonna get higher wages. That's what Biden did, that's a fact. Everybody in mainstream media that doesn't report it and didn't notice that the two Delaware senators vote against it, they suck at their jobs. All they sit there is make excuses for Biden and corporate Democrats. So this second part of his one is try at least, and he's not doing that. And number two is, of course you can convince people through the media and through sticks. What did Trump do? Trump every day in his, a guy with an IQ of about 70, right on the precipice of like mentally challenged, right? He just go out there every day and be like, me jobs, me jobs, me jobs. And then you look at the polling and people thought he created jobs. He didn't. He created jobs at a lower rate than Obama and then crashed the economy at the end. Me jobs, and it worked, You guys are so dumb for not using the media effectively. You just use them as your errand boys to do your bidding. Oh, there's nothing they could do. When you could actually fight in the media, you could fight. And what did Trump do? He intimidated every Republican. He's out of office now, he's supposed to be irrelevant. People like to make fun, oh, he's in Mar-a-Lago doing nothing. Every Republican is going and kissing his ass to this day.
Yep.
Because he beat them into oblivion. How did he do that? He did it with sticks. By the way, Trump isn't right either. He only has sticks, Biden only has carrots. You're supposed to use carrots and sticks. But no, everybody in the mainstream media, all they want to do is cover Biden's ass for his complete inaction. And so at the end of the day, Anna's got me all riled up and now totally against this ad. Yeah, and by the way, if you're part of the folks who put that ad together, bless your heart. You want to say, hey, guys, that's not fair. This is our carrots. Later we have sticks. Show me the sticks and I'll believe
We want to see your sticks.
Yeah.
We want to see, because look, I have a problem with validating the failures of Biden. And to be quite honest with you, what we've been seeing as of late has been one failure after the next, after the next. He might have handled coronavirus well. He might have put the right labor people in, the NLRB. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the robust FDR-like policies that people were prematurely giving him credit for, he has not delivered. He doesn't deserve the credit until he actually accomplishes it. And right now, it's not really looking so great.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.